in today's video what we've got an angle grinder by Ryobi. It's a 1 Plus. It's obviously seen better days, as you can see. It's been mainly, just from looking at it, it's been mainly used to cut up sort of slabs and whatnot. It's got a diamond disc on it, so always a bonus, I suppose. But yeah, this thing is clogged with plaster, brick dust, slab dust, all sorts really. So what we're going to do is just give it a good clean up, get all that off, make sure there's nothing clogging up the motor. Oh, and this thing also has a report of a sticky trigger, so we're also going to look into that, and hopefully cleaning it down will just solve that. So just going to start by taking the disc off, and this one's giving me a bit of a fight, as you can see. Yeah, it's giving me one hell of a fight, so just going to have to get a better angle on this and then try and undo it. Okay, that one fought me a little bit. I think it's the amount of dirt and grime just built up in it. So now that's off, just going to get the disc off, and then I'm going to take the sort of shield off. Okay, yeah, this shield, I'm going to give that a bit of a clean down. I'm probably going to give it a little respray as well. But first I'm going to start by getting rid of all the plaster off of this. So I'm just going to take a screwdriver and start gently scraping away at all the bits of plaster and dust. Now that I've got the big bits, I'm just going to get a wire brush in. I've got a steel wire brush here. Just going to get that in there, and as you can see from the amount of plaster and dust that's coming off, that it could probably have done with it. Well, I always say that. It definitely could have done with it. I'm also trying to be careful not to get too much in the grill, because the last thing I want to do is have to tear it apart again and even further and give it further clean down. So we'll just see how it is after I've given it a clean down, see if that's improved the trigger issue, get the majority of it and sort of work through it. I'm just going back and forth from the screwdriver, air duster and steel wire brush, just so I can get sort of as many bits as I can. I'm also alternating between the steel wire brush, the copper wire brush and the nylon brush. Each one has sort of different degrees of toughness on the bristles, and some places I want to be gentle, other places I want to be a bit more brutal. Okay, and after taking a little bit off there, certainly seems to made the difference. Certainly looks a lot better. So I'm just going to start by unscrewing the handle so that I can get access to the trigger. It's 6 screws and they are T15s. So once they're undone, it should just sort of pop apart. Okay, this one was pretty much felt like it was glued together. So now that we've got the handle off, I can see on the inside of the motor it doesn't look too bad, so I can't actually see much if any dust. So I'm just going to give the outside handle a jolly good clean down, Also going to make sure the trigger is not broken, and just give that a clean down as well, because as you can see it's all caked on. Right, so we've got the ends taped up, so that the vents taped up so that no dust can go in there. I'm just going to give it a quick blast over with the rotary tool. It's got the brush head on it, so I'm just going to get rid of all the big bits. I'm not really going to go overkill on it, apart from the parts where the vents are, but I'm going to use a screwdriver and be careful with that stuff. So just going to give it a quick blast over now, just to make sure it's got a nice smooth handle rather than the rocky handle it's currently got. Not handle, body, sorry. Right, now with the rotary tool, I'm just going to give the insides and the corners a bit of a blast. Hopefully this way it goes back a lot smoother than it did taking it off. Get rid of any bits of dust and dirt and sort of bits of old plaster out. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with this stuff, because it's caked on there pretty well, and it's not exactly easy to remove. Even with a rotary tool, it's still providing a bit of a challenge. So yeah, hats off to the person that managed to get it this caked and sort of this bad. Okay, now onto the trigger. Just going to try and blast some of that off the trigger, make it smoother. Should really take it out, but if it sticks after testing, then I'll take the trigger out. If it doesn't, then I'll leave it alone. And I'll give it a rigorous test as well. Right, now I've got the majority of that off. I'm just going to give it a quick blast again, and then I'm going to attempt to put it back together. Right, that should be good enough to put back together. So I'm just gonna grab the handle, get it all lined up, get it all plugged back in. Give it one last blast, just to make sure everything's out, or as much is out as I can get. And yeah, we'll put it all back together and then we'll give it a good test. See what she does. Yeah, getting this aligned can be quite annoying. So once it's plugged in, get it all lined up. Make sure you've got the screws. If you don't remember the orientation, do what I've done and put them in the right orientation so that you know which ones go where. It's kind of self-explanatory on this one, but again, if you can keep the habit. And once everything's in place and lined up, make sure it all sort of sits nicely, and then start screwing it back together. Okay, so we're just gonna give the shield a bit of a clean down. Might give it do a proper job on it and respray it, because it's looking a bit rusty, it's looking a bit tatty, so might rejuvenate that. Although it would be it would look like the newest part of the angle grinder. Now that all that plaster's off, just get the paint off, and now I'm going to give it a quick sand down just to make that area nice and smooth. And now that's done, just going to give it a spray, and then we'll put that back on, put it all back together, and then give it a test. I did do the testing off camera, so but yeah, it all seems to test fine. Trigger doesn't actually stick, so we're not having to tear that back down just yet. Yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes and carry on using it, but that's enough for today. Thank you again. Please like and subscribe for more.